After nearly 5 years of one of the FBI's most frustrating investigations, they finally got him. On December 4th, 2025, federal agents arrested 30-year-old Brian Cole Jr. in connection with the pipe bombs planted outside the Republican and Democratic National Committee headquarters on January 5th, 2021, the night before the Capitol riot. This case has haunted investigators for years. A hooded figure caught on grainy surveillance footage, 2 live explosive devices, a $500,000 reward for information, and absolutely no leads until now. Let's break down exactly what happened, how they caught him, and the shocking details about the man behind one of America's most mysterious crimes. Let's go back to January 5th, 2021. While most of America was focused on the next day's joint session of Congress to certify the 2020 election, someone was planting 2 pipe bombs in Washington, D.C. Around 7:30 p.m., a figure dressed in a gray hoodie, face mask, gloves, and Nike Air Max sneakers walked through Capitol Hill. Security cameras captured them placing explosive devices outside both the RNC and DNC headquarters, just blocks from the U.S. Capitol. Here's what made this terrifying. These weren't fake bombs. They were viable explosive devices with kitchen timers, galvanized pipes, and homemade fuses. Both bombs were designed to detonate. But here's the strange part. They weren't discovered until 15 hours later, around 1 p.m. on January 6th, right as the Capitol riot was beginning. Some investigators initially thought they might be diversionary devices meant to pull police away from the Capitol. The bomber had vanished into the night, and for almost 5 years, they stayed vanished. This case became one of the FBI's most frustrating mysteries. They had surveillance footage, but the quality was terrible. The suspect wore a mask, which was not unusual in January 2021 during the pandemic. They wore gloves, a hoodie, and moved carefully to avoid cameras. The FBI went all in on this investigation. They reviewed tens of thousands of video files, interviewed over 1,000 people, offered a $500,000 reward for information, even tracked down sales of those specific Nike Air Max sneakers. Fewer than 25,000 pairs had been sold. They analyzed cell phone tower data, they looked at purchase records, they followed up on hundreds of tips. Nothing stuck. Some people started wondering if this case would ever be solved. Was this going to be America's next Zodiac killer, an anonymous figure who just disappeared? The FBI never gave up, and finally, something broke. On Thursday morning, December 4th, 2025, FBI agents descended on a quiet cul-de-sac in Woodbridge, Virginia, about 30 miles south of Washington, D.C. Neighbors reported hearing loudspeakers, "This is the FBI, we have a federal search warrant." They arrested 30-year-old Brian Cole Jr. So how did they find them after 5 years? Attorney General Pam Bondi made it clear. "Let me be clear, there was no new tip, there was no new witness, just good, diligent police work." Here's what broke the case. Cell phone data. Investigators matched Cole's phone records to cell towers around Capitol Hill on January 5th, 2021. The timing of his calls and texts aligned perfectly with the movements of the bomber caught on surveillance footage. Credit card records. They traced purchases from 2019 and 2020. 6 galvanized pipes, protective gloves, eye goggles, batteries, and kitchen timers. All the components used in those bombs. License plate readers. Cole's car, a 2017 Nissan Sentra, was captured on an automatic license plate reader less than half a mile from where the bomber first appeared on surveillance video. Forensic evidence. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino mentioned a forensic breakthrough, but wouldn't elaborate on the details. He called it an aha moment. All of these pieces together created an undeniable pattern. They had their man. So who is Brian Cole Jr.? He's a 30-year-old who lives with his mother and other family members in a quiet Woodbridge neighborhood. One neighbor described it as Sleepytown, the kind of place where nothing ever happens. No one saw him building bombs, no one heard explosions or smelled chemicals. And here's what's still baffling everyone. Why did he do it? Court documents don't explain his motive. He's not known to have strong political affiliations. He targeted both the Republican and Democratic headquarters, so it wasn't clearly partisan. Investigators say the investigation is still ongoing. More charges could be coming. But right now, we simply don't know why Brian Cole Jr. allegedly spent months preparing bomb-making materials and then planted 2 explosive devices on the eve of one of America's most turbulent days. Brian Cole Jr. is facing 2 federal explosives charges. He has been charged with 2 federal explosives offenses and will face prosecution in federal court. If convicted, he's looking at serious prison time. Federal explosives charges carry mandatory minimum sentences, and given the high-profile nature of this case and the connection to January 6th, prosecutors will likely push for a substantial sentence. The investigation isn't over. FBI agents are still executing search warrants. They're examining his home, his electronics, his online activity. They want to know if he acted alone or if there were others involved. And most importantly, they want to know why. Was this politically motivated? Was it meant to cause chaos on January 6th? Was it connected to the Capitol riot or completely separate? Those answers might come out in court proceedings, or they might remain a mystery. After nearly 5 years, one of the FBI's most perplexing cases has a suspect. But in many ways, this story is just beginning. What do you think? Does this arrest answer your questions, or does it raise even more? Let me know in the comments. If you want to stay updated on this case as more details emerge, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.